welcome back. And today I got a shark board with me. It's another great day in winter. Love winter, except the fact that it's already dark at like 3:13, and it's also really cold and windy. For the most part, I'm going to hold off making comparisons to my boosted board till later, because I'll make another video directly comparing it to the boosted board for those curious, because honestly, that is kind of the comparison you want to make. So yeah, I've been riding this board for a couple days now, and so I have my opinions, and I have a good gist of what this thing delivers. To start off, with the board itself, electronics aside, it's a great board by the means of skateboards. The ride is smooth, the cars nicely. It's got a stiff deck, which that's kind of personal preference. I think sometimes flexi decks can be really cool. I kind of like it's got a little bit of a concave shape to the board, which fits nicely in your foot. The best part is definitely the ride, very smooth. That's probably thanks to the large, 95mm wheels on here. Absorbs every bump, not to mention the good engineering in the shark wheels themselves. After all, it is a shark wheel board. You wouldn't expect anything less. Makes bumps on like sidewalks and like streets feel like nothing, which is especially an amazing thing when you're going 20+ miles per hour. One quick side note that I don't love about the board, however, is the design. It's a bit questionable, especially the bottom. Like, it just looks very outdated for a board that you would kind of market as more of a futuristic board. Of all things to complain about, not a big deal. I guess I'll just spray paint it later, probably. Makes a fun video for me, I guess, spray painting my board. The wheels themselves do look sick. Shark wheels always look sick. Also, the translucent blue wheels just shine great in the light. Small detail, but I like it. Build quality. The board feels good. It feels well made. The trucks, the wheels, the whole board deck, solid. Feels like that's not really gonna break on you. Feels solid, doesn't feel cheap. Something that doesn't feel good though, the remote. The remote feels awful. This thing feels so cheap. I wish you could feel it, because it just feels such like a cheap plastic. And this is where the bulk of my concerns are gonna be, because the remote is really where all my problems lie with this board. I like that they put a wheel in, but it's a very small wheel, and that makes a large problem, because that makes it very, very, very sensitive. It's such a small wheel, so every movement has such a precise little increment to the power, and that's where the big problem is, because that means accelerating can be a little jerky. Oh my god, the times I've gotten kicked off this board from a standstill or going slow, not because I'm not an avid rider. I ride my boosted board all the time, and I just never get kicked off that. I'm getting better at it. The more I ride, the more I'm used to it. That I know I have to start super slowly, but I feel like that makes it a not very beginner friendly board. Even a bigger problem is actually braking, because braking is not smooth whatsoever. I've gotten a little bit better after riding more and more at braking, but I feel like it definitely takes more effort than it really should to get a smooth, clean brake out. First impression with the braking, it was awful. I went down my street, and out of the box, it's at level 3 braking. That braking is way too sensitive, way too strong. I don't know why you would want that much braking, because what happens is that I can't actually brake, because if I actually brake, it's gonna jolt me off the board. I haven't gone back to trying a higher braking mode since, because I feel like the level 1 braking mode is already strong enough. Maybe in the future when I do the comparison against boosted, I'll have a second opinion on that. But it is definitely usable with some experience, but out of the box, it's definitely very frustrating and takes some time to get used to and just to feel safe and comfortable on the board. Jeez. Braking is probably the biggest complaint, in my opinion, about this board. Once again, that really all sources back to the remote. If the remote was designed better, you wouldn't really have that much issues. The actual braking power is good. It stops pretty fast. And, once you get the hang of it, I do think it's good brakes relatively. Also, another key point I forgot to mention while I was recording is that the board does go in reverse. However, I don't really like it, because it has a button, a switch on the remote that you need to press to put it in reverse, which is kind of annoying in the first place. But the bigger problem actually is that by having a switch and to go reverse, you still press the same button to go forward. And if you forget to switch that lever back to going forward, oh, you are screwed. And I've actually done this a few times myself, genuinely. And I forgot it was on reverse. I thought that was, I would actually, wow, that was not on purpose, I swear. I hate that there's a lever here. Why? And just, I don't know why they couldn't have just made the, another boosted reference, but just having the wheel go forward to go forward and the wheel go back to brake and then go backwards, it just makes a lot more sense than having a switch to reverse. It has a screen, which is really cool. Or should I say it could be really cool, but I just don't think they really designed the screen very well. Basically, the biggest number they have is the miles per hour, which is cool at first, but really just never use the miles per hour in the future, I feel like, because once you know the speed of the board, it doesn't really matter. And after further inspection, I actually realized that the miles per hour isn't even accurate. It's actually depending on the speed mode. Because you see here, it's only showing 3 miles per hour, but then when I change the speed to be a higher speed mode in the settings, it goes up to 40 miles per hour, and it's not even moving. So yeah, at that point, the miles per hour is kind of useless too, wasting more screen space. And of all things I would actually rather see on the screen is like a percentage of the battery. It doesn't show battery life that well. It's only 4 bars that are not very specific, and so that gives you a range of 25% that your board could be in. I just feel like they could do like a percent or like your range left. That could be so much better use of the remote. They don't really capitalize on that, and overall, once again, just build quality. The screen just doesn't seem very good. Like it's getting scratched already. It's all my problems lie in the remote, honestly. Oh my god, like if I could take Boosted's remote and put it on this board, I mean that's a pretty good board, honestly. Like yeah, in terms of the ride and actually using the board, the system is a hub-driven system. So that means no belts or things like that. And probably the key characteristics of that really matters is that it's quiet. A subjective thing, you may like it, you may not. Quiet can be nice in the sense that it's just peaceful, especially when riding, you can hear everything. A downside though, and why I do sometimes like to have a little bit of noise, is that it notifies people that you are coming, that they can get out of your way. When they can't hear you and you're going 20 plus miles per hour, it's kind of hard to give them a little bit of heads up. Also, sometimes it's more fun for acceleration when there's like a noise. Something about like, it's like a car with a combustion engine that's like revving up like, and compared to like a Tesla, like it's, sometimes that satisfaction of the engine can be cool. Acceleration, subjective, personal opinion. But yeah, all in all, it's a great board. I think it's a lot of fun. It totally kicks, it pushes up to 26 miles per hour, great range. What is it? I haven't fully tested the range. It's on number, 24 mile range, right? Which is pretty great on specs, but I have to see going at highest speed mode how that really goes. It has good specs on paper, but really specs on paper don't mean as much as the ride as a whole. Oh, jeez. Oh, all that sand just kicked up into my face. Wow. Ow. Definitely has room to improve for sure. I mean, coming in at $700, I mean, for that price, then it is, a solid buy. It's all relative. Is it better than Boosted? I don't know. I mean, for $700, it's worth its money, I think. One key thing, though, I will say, I don't think it's a very beginner-friendly board. It's like, I never really thought of there being like beginner-friendly versus non-beginner-friendly boards in the electric skateboard industry. But after riding this, it made me think like, yeah, if I were not an avid rider that already was comfortable with the mechanics of riding an electric skateboard, going fast, kind of braking, being used and going forward, accelerating, it's a learning curve because it's, once again, so jerky and so sensitive. It just makes it really hard if you're not used to that stuff and good riders. So if this is like you're not used to skateboarding and even electric skateboards, wouldn't recommend that for you. But I enjoy it and it's fun, and overall I definitely recommend getting an electric skateboard. They're tons of fun, great way to get around, great way to have fun in life. That's for sure. It's a total different experience. So, but yeah, if you don't mind, I'm gonna get going now because my toes are kind of getting cold. No, not kind of. They're cold. So yeah. But I hope you found that useful. That was my honest opinion about the board, and I'll come out soon with a comparison between this and the boosted board. That should give a good kind of highlight on where does it stand. Take care, and I'll catch you next time. Make sure to subscribe for more, and I'll keep making some videos. That was pretty cool though. I actually feel like I'm snowboarding out here because I have like a ski helmet on. It's cold into the headwind. It's like skate 3. Who needs to go snowboarding on a ski mountain when you got electric skateboards in the winter? You know, it's a shark